Hey everyone, we're going to dive into dirt bikes today. Well, one in particular, this children's 10 MPH dirt bike. I've got to admit, thinking about getting my kid a dirt bike, it brings up some, fast and furious daydreams.
Yeah.
But this one, 10 MPH, is that really going to get a teenager pumped? I'm not so sure.
Yeah, I get it. Teens, off-roading, sounds like a recipe for a good time. Fresh air, freedom, maybe come home with a bit of mud on their face, right?
You're right.
But 10 MPH, it does make you wonder, is this more of a leisurely cruise than like an extreme adventure? We're checking out this review from kidsplaygroundset.com. Seems pretty enthusiastic, but we're here to find out what's really going on.
Okay, so they're calling this thing powerful in the review, which with that top speed kind of has me scratching my head. Maybe I'm missing something.
No, I see what you mean. Powerful can be, well, kind of relative, right? What's interesting here is they mention a brushless hub motor. Now, these are known for their torque, that quick burst of power off the line. Might not win any races at 10 mph, but think about it. Pulling away from a standstill, your teen might be surprised how quickly it gets up to speed.
Okay, I'm starting to see how that 10 MPH could be deceiving. So what about the handling? The review mentions smooth handling and stepless speed changes, which seems like it'd be good for a beginner.
For sure, especially for someone new to dirt biking, those smooth transitions can make a big difference in building their confidence. And this is where it gets interesting. Thinking about your teenager no gears, that might feel kind of limiting once they've, gotten the hang of it. It's that trade-off. Easy to learn versus having that finer control that a more, experienced rider might want.
Got it. So great for starting out, but maybe not the dirt bikes I'll have forever. What about riding off-road? This review talks about superior traction and riding on any surface, which, come on, that sounds a little too good to be true.
Huh. Yeah, those marketing folks can get a little carried away. While those knobby tires are great for grip, any surface is definitely pushing it. Look about that 10 mph top speed for a second. What's that going to be like in deep sand or thick mud? Those tires might be working overtime, but your teen could end up feeling more stuck than, having a blast.
Yeah, that's a good point. It's not like teens are known for their patience when things don't go their way. Maybe not all surfaces then.
Right. It's all about having the right expectations. For cruising around the backyard, maybe some well-maintained trails could be awesome. Hardcore off-roading with bumps and all that, maybe not so much.
And speaking of challenges, got to think about safety, right? The review talks about a rear disc brake, which sounds good. But is that enough to put a parent's mind at ease? I'm not sure.
Yeah, disc brakes are definitely a step up from those coaster brakes we had as kids, that's for sure. But I can see why we got to look at the bigger picture, too, not just stopping.
Exactly. It's about how well the whole thing is built.
Yeah.
Think about it. You've got a teenager, they're going to push this thing, right? Jumps, bumps, maybe a wipeout or two. It's all part of learning. You want a dirt bike that can handle that, the frame, the suspension, the whole 9 yards. Disc brake's great, don't get me wrong,
Okay.
but it's just one piece of the puzzle. That's a good point. Like they say, you wear safety gear for the times you don't expect to fall.
Yeah.
Right. And speaking of investing in safety, maybe some other gear too, got to talk about the price. This children's 10 MPH dirt bike, it's $699.95. Not exactly chump change.
Yeah, you're telling me $699.95? That puts it in a kind of tricky spot, It's more than just a toy, but it's not exactly a top-of-the-line investment either. And that's where I think a lot of parents are going to stop and think, is this right? You can find some other beginner dirt bikes around that price, maybe a bit faster, a few more bells and whistles.
Yeah, it's that tough decision. Do you get something that's good enough for now, or do you spend a little more upfront and get something that'll last longer,
Yeah, exactly. And that's where those hidden costs come in, right? Can't skimp on safety gear, helmet, gloves, pads. That stuff adds up quick. And then there's maintenance, too. Oiling the chain every few rides. And trust me, as a parent, you know who usually ends up doing that. Replacing tires, tightening things up. It's all part of owning a dirt bike.
I'll tell you about it. My son's bicycle, it feels like every other week something needs fixing, tightening, adjusting.
And that's just a bicycle. Dirt bikes, well, they're made for rough terrain, right? More wear and tear.
No.
So yeah, it's not just about the $699.95. It's also about the time and money you got to put in to keep it running, keep it safe.
Okay, so we've talked features, we've talked limitations, safety, price. Seems like we've covered a lot. But, something tells me there's more to it, right? Something about teenagers and dirt bikes just screams, there's more to this story.
You're right. You're absolutely right. And this is where we get into what I like to call those unspoken things, Not always in the brochures, but they can make all the difference for your teenager.
Those unspoken things, those between-the-lines factors, what are we talking about here with teens and dirt bikes.
Well, let's be real. Dirt biking for teenagers is not just about riding around. It's social, you know? It's about hanging out with their buddies, challenging each other, maybe even a little showing off here and there.
Oh, yeah, for sure. It's that whole look what I can do thing,
Yeah.
right? Classic teenager. So where does this 10 MPH dirt bike fit into all that?
That's the big question. I mean, it's a great way to start, learn the ropes safely. But think about this. Your teenagers out with their friends. Everyone's got their dirt bikes, right? But their friends have faster bikes. Now, they're sticking to the trails, being responsible, but that speed difference, they're always going to be at the back of the pack.
And for a teenager, that's not exactly a recipe for a good time.
Exactly. It's not just about keeping up. It's about feeling included, you know, part of the group. This dirt bike might be perfect for riding solo around the backyard, but when it comes to group rides, could lead to some frustration, maybe even feeling a bit left out.
Right, like imagine getting them a starter guitar when all their friends are jamming in a band. They need something that can keep up.
Exactly, you got it. And that's what those unspoken things are all about, right? Understanding what your teenager wants. Do they want to hit those tough trails with their friends? Or are they cool with something a little more laid back? The answer to that question, that's going to tell you a lot about whether this 10 MPH dirt bike is the right choice, you know?
It's about finding the right tool for the job, or the dream, right?
Yeah.
So for everyone listening who's thinking about this dirt bike for their teen, what's the big takeaway? What should they be thinking about as they make this decision?
Here's a thought. Picture your teenager a year from now. They're riding this 10 MPH dirt bike. Are they happy cruising around the backyard? Or are they wishing they had more speed, feeling a little left out when their friends take off? That picture, I think, that'll give you the answer you need.
That's a great way to put it. It's not just about the dirt bike itself. It's about seeing how it fits into their life, you know, their friends, their dreams, the whole picture. Thanks for breaking all that down for us.
Anytime. That's what we're here for, right? Making those tough decisions a little easier.
Absolutely. And for everyone listening, hopefully this deep dive gave you all the info you need to pick the perfect dirt bike for your teenager. Until next time, keep exploring, keep those engines running, and most importantly, keep the rubber side down.